All right, y'all boys, this is going to be the 5th video on the YouTube page. I have some finals coming up this week, and I'm also flying back home on Wednesday. So I might not be able to keep getting a video out every day. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is one video a day. So I might miss a day or two this week. But anyways, though, somebody in the comments mentioned Chris Johnson, so that's who this video is going to be on. I still got to get a speed churning video out. Hopefully I get that out by this weekend, actually. Chris Johnson has a good speed churn clip that I found today. I'm going to save it, though. But real quick, before we get into this one, I don't want to yak too much. I just want to compliment Chris Johnson. I think the way he plays is really good. He's very, you're going to see in this clip as well. I'll play it full speed while I'm yapping. He's very, very patient, whether it's an off or press. Sometimes, honestly, after watching some more of his clips today and really breaking it down, sometimes he might be too patient, and I worry, going up against NFL receivers versus the Mountain West or Pac-12, whatever you want to call it. I just worry that sometimes being too patient could get him, burnt a little bit. But regardless, though, very patient and presser off man. And also want to compliment him as well. I don't know if it's the lower body or whatever it is, but he's very, if you guys watching, he's very, very, like his center of gravity, his center of gravity is very good. That's what I was looking for. He's never really leaning or off balance. He's very, ready to go laterally, vertical, any type of way his body is able to do it. That's one thing I want to compliment him on, right? Especially at 6 foot, that's not easy to do, right? But anyways, for this clip, though, I want you guys to see how the receiver starts slowing down his speed, right? And Chris Johnson sees that. He's gonna sprint full speed for only a couple yards, and he's gonna slow down. And Chris Johnson always trusts his speed. That's what I like about him. And he sort of just tempos it with the receiver, break with him. Not even too much to talk about on this one, but a lot of times corners, if they see how fast their receiver's running, he might be already back here. You feel what I'm saying? But does a good job trusting his speed, sees he's about to break, and boom, go get the ball. All right, y'all. This is going to be the second clip. I'm going to try and do actually a lot more clips in this video. I normally do about 3 to 4, but Chris Johnson is not too much to even touch on. I would just say he really has good patience. That's actually what I'm going to talk about after this clip, though. I'm going to show you what I was talking about earlier. I think sometimes he has too much patience, right? But some DBs like to play in a trail position and like to play underneath, if that makes sense. They like to play a lot more patient at the line or on prep or even off. And they would rather play underneath with the receiver. And sometimes that can work. I just wonder how it'll translate to the NFL. It's kind of rare, but he does a great job at that. I'm going to show y'all what I mean in the next clip. I don't want to spend too much time on this one either. Once again, though, great job, slowing down your pedal to match the receiver, and great freaking PBU. One thing I wanted to touch about with this one, let me zoom in for y'all boys. So boom, he's matching. That is much better. Receiver comes screaming. Receiver starts slowing down for his break, right? And he does a great job. He breaks in sync. Only thing, we always critique the little things. Whenever you're breaking to the left, you want to break with your opposite foot, right? Just always remember that. If you want to break somewhere, break with your opposite foot. So if the receiver is going out, break with your left. Receiver's going in, he should break with his right foot. I know the quality's bad. I apologize. You guys see how he breaks with his left, right? Maybe if I play full speed, boom. You guys see how that's his cleat. So he does break with the left foot here. And it's sort of, you see how the right step has to come right here, and the receiver actually gains a quick step on him, nothing crazy. But that's a good way to eliminate wasted movement and to really get out your breaks faster, right? Plant left, right, I'm out the breaks, right? But we're just critiquing the little things. I mean, still a great job. Hopefully you guys see what I'm talking about, though. Matches receiver starts slowing down, boom. Next time, plant with the right, and then great PBU. Also, I posted a TikTok on it, and I think I talked about it in Ellis Robinson's last video. Whenever you guys are playing off, and even if you don't speed churn, most of the time it's common with a speed churn, but on the break right here, always get to his upfield shoulder. That's actually a good thing I want to point out on this clip. Always get to the upfield shoulder. If Chris Johnson went to undercut this and the ball was thrown long, he would really have no chance at getting the ball unless you're like a DJ Pickett or Dijon Lee and you're 6'5", right? But anyways, though, always get to that upfield shoulder and you can play down. And you can always undercut it too, right? If the ball is underthrown, you can get it. If it's overthrown, you can also get it. That's another point I want to I wanted to speak on as well. But great rep. All right, y'all. So if this is a clip, I'll play full speed first. This is just the only bad thing I would say about his game. It could be a good thing for some corners. Like I said, only time will tell with how it translates to the NFL. I just worry about when corners sometimes like to play that underneath trail position, right? As you guys can see right here, this receiver, I'll play full speed one more time. You know, this receiver is coming out hot. He ain't doing the sprint to slow stutter, right? He's getting out. And then Chris Johnson, like his steps, he's really barely trying to just keep an eye on his feet. He's not really taking big steps at all, right? He's taking about not even a yard, probably just a foot, right? That's the only thing I worry about. He does a good job of widening him without any hands, but once again, he's playing in a trail. And I actually do not know how he picked this off. He does have really good ball skills. This is just, I don't even know if you could teach this, but anyways, so let's get back to this point. That's the only thing I worry about. It's just not be too patient. Like what you want to always do is play top down, right? And say for this example, if you play top down, boom, and he just cuts you inside, you can always speed churn though. You guys see what I'm saying? I did that. I showed that video yesterday. I'm going to show more on the speed churning out of a crossover run or a bail, right? On my next video. But that's the only thing I would say is sometimes you can be too patient. Like if this is Justin Jefferson or, prime Tyreek Hill, could it get critical potentially? But regardless though, still a good rep. All right, y'all. I'm going to show 2 more clips after this one. The last 2 clips, I don't need to talk about too much, but it's him and Press. Both was guarding the slant route, right? But those are going to be good reps. This one was a bad rep. I'm going to show. This was at the Senior Bowl, I believe, right? I'll play full speed first. Just once again, you guys see that patience thing I'm talking about, right? And sometimes he's a little late to get hands on the receiver, right? And this was just a pretty good catch from the receiver, right? But that's the only thing that I don't like about his game is he's too patient. Once again, though, he's doing a really good job kicking and not crossing over his feet, though, right? Kick, re-kick, right? The only thing is he's so kind of far off. He's not even an arm's distance, right? And the receiver's now getting vertical and he's still trying to stay square. You guys see what I'm talking about here? Let me know in the comment section if that makes sense. And you don't really see this too often. And he does have really good recovery speed. That's why I was just concerned maybe it might not translate to NFL. But yeah, like the receiver is screaming vertical. His hips are going, like he's going. And Chris Johnson is he's probably diagonal at this point, but we sort of got to open up and get to it. And then he's getting into that side crossover run when this receiver, and it's just sort of more of a feel thing. In real life, you can feel when that receiver he's running too fast to stop on a dime, right? But I'll play it again. Good kicks. Really did a great job with those kicks, but he definitely should not have looked back for the ball probably right here. This is too much separation. You only want to look back for the ball if you are hands distance away, right? Always remember that. You got to be hands-on with one arm or at least hands distance away in order to look back for the ball, right? And I just don't think he is right here. Ball is actually a little underthrown as well. He almost got it, but that's the only thing I say bad about his game. All right, y'all, this is going to be the second to last clip in the video. Like I said in the last one, the only thing I don't like is how patient he can be, but regardless, though, his patience is a good thing at times. His kick sliding, his technique with the kicks is really just, probably might be the best in the country, right? His center of gravity, how low he stays and how even and how good his kicks are, it's really impressive, right? So for this play for San Diego, they're playing 2-on-2, right? But it's really 1-on-1. Chris Johnson's going to have the back receiver. And then I believe this is Eric Butler. He's going to have the front receiver, if that makes sense, right? So we're watching Chris Johnson right here. He's got the back receiver. Don't mind the other two, right? I'll play at full speed so you guys see which direction they're going to go. Once again, you guys see the patience. Great preview, though. But let me zoom in. My bad, y'all. Alrighty. So, boom. For starters, he's about 1, 2, 3, 4. He's about 4 or 5 yards off. The technique he's playing here, I don't want to call it an inch. I want to sort of call it a scooch to an inch, right? You guys see how his right foot is sort of scooching back. And you always can play scooch, I would say 5 to 7 yards, right? 5 to 7 yards, because the black line, did the black line show? Nah, but the line of scrimmage, though, is right here. You guys see the ball? The ball's right here, right, on the 2. So he's about 3-4 yards back from the ball, right? So it sort of, makes it impossible to press on him, right? So Chris Johnson, he does a really good job. He's going to scooch. The lead foot with the scooch is going to be the right foot, and he's going to settle into an inch. I'll try and get a good drill to show on YouTube later. I'll probably start posting drills later on, but he's getting some good scooches in, and then he's going to settle into an inch, right? That's what the last couple steps are, into an inch. Once again, you guys know me. I always love it when a corner can strap something up without laying a hand on the receiver. It just shows their techniques off the charts. And this one, he sort of lets receiver get a little away from him, and he might have been a little too off, little too much backing up, but the recovery speed is ridiculous, right? And another thing that I also want to mention on this rep, so boom, after we get into an inch, right, another big thing is we always want to get a kick slide in, right? Whether it's horizontal or vertical, we always want to get a kick. Watch Chris Johnson's feet before he breaks downhill. Boom. What's he do? Gets a kick. That kick is so crucial because it's sort of like a speed boost. I'm not even really trying to be funny. But in a video game, you see a player like, oh, he's speed boosting. It really is a speed boost. You'd be shocked how much faster it gets you to your receiver's hip, right? To play that ball. Just try it out at practice. Boom, kick into a run. That was a big thing I wanted to speak on in this rep. Kick to a run. Hopefully you guys see what I'm talking about here, but kick, and then he's going to break downhill. Great PBU. All right, y'all. This is going to be the final clip. Hopefully the video is not too long. Also, let me know if you guys like when the video is a little longer, when I really go into depth on certain things, or if you guys like it, just keeping it short and sweet, right? But anyways, though, so on this clip, I forgot which team they're playing, but you guys sort of see that patience in the back end up that I'm talking about, right? I don't need to go too much into this one. He does a great job. I will say this. The patience that he does do, he stays square the whole time. So the receiver can't really do much except just run with the open space that he already has. You know what I'm saying? If say Chris Johnson opens his hips this way, easy catch, and you're getting yards after catch, right? But Chris Johnson always keeps his hips straight, right? That's one thing I want to compliment him on. And then once again, hey, look at them elbows flare up. Hopefully, some of you guys watching this one watched the last one at Ellis Robinson, but look, hey, peep the elbows, y'all. Boom, hey, y'all see the elbows flare up? It's a good kick. It's not every time, but he gets a good kick in and go play the ball, right? Not too much on this one. Same as last time. Sometimes, he might be a little too patient, but great job keeping his hip square, right? But anyways, though, I'll wrap the video up there. Let me know anybody else you guys want to see a video on. I'm thinking of doing Colton Hood from Tennessee next. Him and Jamal McCoy, actually, from Tennessee. They're one of my favorite teams to watch past 2 years just because of the corner room that they have. But definitely Colton Hood, Jamal McCoy. And I'm also going to do a video on speed churning. In that clip, I'm going to have Ellis Robinson, Chris Johnson, and Mansour Delane. Trying to find a couple more guys. I just want to touch. Because speed churning, when bailing a crossover run, it's a pretty important technique that I want to cover. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for that one. Once again, anything you guys want to let me know, any feedback, drop in the comments. I check YouTube app every 15 minutes. But with that, though, have a good day, everybody.